Welcome and thank you for joining us for the 4th edition of IU Field Hockey Weekly alongside videographer Juliana Sherry. I am Brian Singer, and this week I'm privileged to be joined by senior Nicole Volgraf, coach Amanda Janney, and we'll be able to go over last weekend's slate of games, 2 overtime losses for IU, and we'll preview this weekend's game, a Big Ten battle, 3:30 this Friday against Rutgers. All that and some more. Big Ten playoff play is soon. We'll do that all right after this.
Indiana fight!
So, Coach, IU now stands at 8-9, 4-3 in Big Ten play, which is very impressive. Unfortunately, the most recent Big Ten game coming at Maryland, disappointing overtime loss. Talk about that game and kind of, does it compare to Syracuse at all, in which it's a very tough loss, but it's against a very formidable opponent?
Yeah, going into the Maryland game, we knew that the Syracuse game was preparing us for that. Speed of play and just a competitive team and one of the best in the nation. So despite the score, we're still very pleased with our team's effort, our ability to play so evenly with a top-ranked team and really get a lot of good chances to score. So I think we didn't get the result we wanted, but I think we were more prepared to see them again in Big Tens.
And now, Nicole, being on the offensive side for you a lot of times, getting shut out, but against Maryland defense, which is, again, a powerhouse defense, how tough were they to kind of break through?
It was tough, but we really took advantage of the breakaways. Unfortunately, with the shutout, we didn't get the goals and the ball in the back of the net like we wanted to, but I think it's so important for the team to understand that if we can attack like the way we did against Maryland, that we can have the ability to put the ball in the back of the net in any other game. Obviously, nobody wants to shut out against you, but I think that we really proved a lot to ourselves, and I think that our attack is ready to take on Rutgers this weekend, and we're going to have a good show in the Big Ten tournament.
And the attack has been something that it's come from so many angles, so many different people, penalty corners, counterattacks. What can your squad work on going forward to avoid being shut out, whether it's against Rutgers or whether it's in the Big Ten tournament, which is so shortly after Rutgers? What can you guys continue to improve upon?
I think it's so important to not waste any opportunities, especially when you're in the circle. We really need to take care of the ball and make sure that we're getting a good shot off or getting a good pass off. We can't get inside our 25 or, more importantly, inside the circle and give up anything. Along with that, with corners, we really need to execute on everyone we get, especially when the teams get tougher. You get less corners, most likely, so just executing on those and getting something out is going to be crucial.
And then that was just one of 2 overtime games you guys played this weekend. Talk about the toll on the body physically and even the toll mentally that it plays, because 70 minutes and then there's just minutes ticking on and on after. Does that play a toll on your body physically?
Definitely. I mean, an overtime for 15 minutes with 7 girls on the field, it's not easy. It's not easy at all. And then in American, we went into 2 overtimes, and it definitely takes a toll on the body. But at the same time, if you're a good team, you have to pull out a W at the end. You know, both teams are tired, so it's really important to just be the better team at the end. And unfortunately, we weren't the better team this weekend, but I think that if we face an overtime again, it has to be ours, and I think it will be ours. We've learned a lot from this weekend.
And we'll get to American in a second, but Coach, I want to talk about Noelle, freshman goalkeeper who we had on 2 weeks ago. 16 saves in this game versus Maryland. Maybe most that IU has had in 10 years. I mean, the statistics, the records, just seems like each week Noelle sets something different. And she's doing this as a freshman. Did she surprise you at all, or did you expect these outstanding achievements that she's come by?
Yeah, Noelle had a great game on Friday, and I think someone of that caliber that's played on the national team back at home in Germany for herself, we knew she'd come in with the experience, and I think with what we're seeing time and time again is she can handle that big pressure of a big game and a tough competitor. So we know she steps up at big moments, and that makes us really confident in her and our defense come Big Ten tournament.
So now 1-0 loss to Maryland. 48 hours later, you're traveling into D.C. to face American. A 4-3 overtime loss, another overtime loss. But what I want to highlight is the 2-0 deficit that you guys were able to kind of force your way back, tie the game up. What does that say, Coach, about your team that goes down 2-0? They're down, but they're certainly not out.
Yeah, it's something we've been talking about all season is just being a better second half team. So I think we certainly didn't start the way we wanted to, but to see the resilience in our team and to get back and score 3 excellent goals and in field play as well, that we've been a little dependent on our corners, and to see different people like Taylor Pearson, Claire Woods, a freshman, step up and score a huge third goal for us. We're really happy with the protection in the second half.
We'll get to penalty corners in one sec, but before that, Nicole, you're on the field. You go down 2-0. Is there doubt in your mind that you guys would be able to come back, or did you know the resilience that your team, starting from coach and going all the way down to the bottom, that you guys would be able to do it?
Yeah, there was no doubt that we were going to come back. It was just a matter of coming together and fixing the things that needed to be fixed. Luckily, we had a lot of changes at halftime that really helped us out. We got to come back from the deficit, and I just think that if every player on the field believes that we can come back from that deficit, then it's going to happen, and that's exactly what happened when we got back in the second half. And I don't think that anybody had a doubt that we were going to lose that game. We went in knowing that that was a team that we should have been beating, so I think that that helped too, to go in and understand that we could beat that team.
Now, Coach, penalty corners is something that on the offensive side probably been the biggest strength, I'd say, of this team. Unfortunately, against American, multiple goals came against you guys via the penalty corners. Is that something that the team has to work on going forward before Rutgers and then before Big Ten tournament play?
Yeah, I think our defensive penalty corners, they've just been excellent all season, and that's something we have a whole new corner unit than they had last year, so we still have people in new positions, trying to figure out what works best. And I think for us to get a little exposed this past weekend isn't a bad thing going into the tournament, to know what we have to work on, what we need to improve on. It's just going to make us better in 2 weekends from now. So I think all the experience from this weekend, we didn't get the results on the scoreboard, but I think we learned a lot, and it makes us a lot stronger moving into this weekend and next weekend.
Something that could also, hopefully will make the team stronger. 2 overtime losses obviously kind of takes 1 step back. Hopefully the team can now go 2 steps forward, if you will. How do you keep the morale up in the locker room? 2 losses is tough enough. 2 overtime losses, it almost becomes heartbreaking. How do you keep the morale up after that?
Well, I think just to talk about the lessons learned, I think the likelihood of us going to overtime in the Big Ten Championship Tournament is very high. Every team is very competitive, and we were able to work on that in a live game situation against the 2 teams. So I think that just makes us stronger and smarter for postseason. And we're hosting the tournament at our home field at IU, and we want to make sure we're playing our best and we're getting the most experience we can before we enter that tournament, so we'll be well prepared.
A lot of the experience comes from the core 4, you could call it the 4 seniors, and Nicole, you being one of them. Talk about this senior class, which has been through the ups and downs of IU field hockey in the past 4 or 5 years. Talk about how it's been, the experience, and then how great this season has been and how you've been able to share that with a few people who've gone through it all.
Yeah, we're definitely really lucky to have been able to experience this year. I think that the 4 of us have really taken everything in and taken advantage of everything that AJ has brought to the team. I think that going into our senior game this weekend, we're kind of trying to tell the underclassmen, you know, you have to play like it is your last game, and AJ's been preaching that all season, because before you know it, it is going to be your last game. And granted, we have the tournament here at home, which is amazing. Normally we're traveling for that, but we do get to play on our home field again, and we're just ready to beat Rutgers and just teach the underclassmen that you really do have to give it all in every game, because it doesn't last very long.
Now, you were on that student committee with Athletic Director Fred Glass, who brought in Coach Janney. So, Coach, no pressure for this answer. But now it's your turn. Talk about the senior class, including Nicole, that you have in your first season here at IU.
Sure. I've been so privileged with not only a great team, but great senior leadership. And it's so important and key for a winning team to have that leadership from the top and from within. And I think these 4 seniors, Nicole, one of the best examples of a student athlete who really knows how to get it done on the field and off the field and take care of business, both academically, athletically, and just the dedication to the team. It takes a lot to be a Division I student athlete, and we have just 4 great examples of people who care so much about the team and so much about helping this program get better. And we're really just so privileged to have 4 great leaders in Nicole, Karen, Sydney, and Rachel, and we're so honored to be able to celebrate them next Friday in our game against Rutgers. It's going to be nationally televised, so we're hoping for a huge crowd, and we're expecting a big win that day.
It's a 3:30 game on Big Ten Network. So lastly, just conclude with talking about, number 1, Rutgers in the matchup, but number 2, how important it is to end your regular season and go into tournament play with some momentum on your side.
Yeah, I think it's really important. I think Rutgers is a very good team that I know well from playing them. I know they're going to be a battle. It's going to be a tough game. And after this past weekend, we have to get back on the boards in terms of earning that W and making sure we have the momentum going into our Thursday game. We're not sure who we're going to play in the Big Tens, but we need to make sure the Rutgers game is our last preparation to get us ready for that.
It'll be a battle at 3:30 here at IU on Friday. IU looking to become, first time in IU field hockey history, looking to rack up 5 Big Ten wins. They would finish, if they beat Rutgers, 5-3 in Big Ten play this year, Coach Janney's first year. So girls, good luck Friday. Everyone's supporting you. End on a high note, finish 5-3 in the Big Ten, and then Big Ten tournament play not too far away. So thank you, girls. We will see you 1 week from today.